Today's scripture is from the book of Matthew, chapter 5, 1 through 12. Seeing the crowds, he went up on the mountain, and when he sat down, his disciples came to him. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when others revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven, for so they persecuted the prophets who were before you. Good morning, New Life Church. Today is the last day to think about what we can learn from the Christian persecutions through the Bible reading plan, learning from the persecuted church. A life of continual ease does not enable us to know who we are or how we would react in times of struggles. When we face difficulties, we are able to know what we need for the growth of faith and strive to have it. Before we talk about what we are going to learn today, so let's take a quick look at what we've learned for 4 days. First day, we learned about radical faith. If we have a radical faith from the persecuted church, we could think it's okay, although God does not do work as we thought or wanted. Second day, the Bible reading plan says we should consider the trials we face as joy. So one can understand that the struggles of life as the means through which a faithful God perfects and completes us. Even those very difficulties can be considered to be joy. Third day, we need to know that God is still faithful and He is working for our good, because we can have hope when we know about that. And we should have hope to be able to overcome the difficulties. And last Friday, we learned about radical love that the Bible tells us. It's not easy to love others as the Bible wants us to do, but persecuted church shows us that it is possible to love as the Bible commands. So let's talk about what we can learn from today's lesson. The Bible reading plan says we need to have perspective that was shaped on our life, but also by our spiritual life. Most people have perspective by own experiences, educations, and upbringing. So it is very important that we receive a good education and have a lot of experiences to have a good perspective. But as a child of God, our perspective must be shaped by the scriptures in a significant way, and also add to our perspective through the observation of the persecuted church. It means we can add radical faith, joy, hope, and love that the persecuted church demonstrates as they serve the Lord through difficulties and sufferings, but we should also add a radical perspective. Because the perspectives from the world cannot last forever, but the perspective that was shaped by God's words can be eternal. We cannot understand or wish for God's kingdom with a worldly perspective. We can understand about today's scriptures we read at all if we do not have God's perspective. It is impossible if we try to understand the blessed that today's scripture says is saying with a worldly perspective. So when we understand the Bible, look at the persecuted church and us in suffering, we eventually can fill our lives with a radical faith, joy, hope, and love. That's why it is very important to have a perspective that was shaped by God's words. So I pray that we are able to walk in spirit and in truth with all we have learned from the radical faith, joy, hope, love, and perspective of the persecuted church. Have a great week and see you.